the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
Welcome to the podcast. How's it going? I'm just on my burner phone.
Why are you talking like
Why are you
that? Did
talking
it give
like
you a
that?
sore throat?
Yeah.
Did it burn your throat?
I think it did. I think I did so much yelling for my wife to come back when she found my burner phone. I didn't know what to do.
It's full on today.
Burner
In the
phones.
podcast, a mate of a mate in the friendship group has been done with a burner phone. Tried to say it's for work. Unfortunately, though, he has got a lot of female employees that he must work with and is very close with because it has blown up. The burner phone has not just burned, it's blown up in his face. So that's going to be in the podcast.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I tell you what, there's a fair bit going on in the block at the moment because Ricky Ricard. Now, Ricky's a pretty good-looking bloke. He's on there with a best mate of his, and those boys, I mean, they've got trade backgrounds, so they're going to do really well on the show.
Yep.
But this is the thing. Oh, no, because filming's already done. We always speak to Scotty Cam. They filmed this earlier, and we're just watching the end product now after it's all been edited up. But I didn't know this. Before he's gone onto the block, he has said to his girlfriend, this is going to be tough, but I will be on there for... I'll be on there for 3 months, so you're just going to have to wait for me. She said, look, this is going to be really hard for me. We're going to have to do a long-distance relationship.
Yeah,
He
'cause-
said, well, why don't I book us into Mexico when we get out, right? We can have a trip away, you and I. I'm going to be working so hard. I need to relax. Hopefully we've won some money on the block,
Yep.
and we can go to Mexico.
Nice idea.
She goes, great. How about I house sit your house, I look after your dog, and he's got a trade himself. And she said, you know what, I'll even help out with your small business and I'll do a bit of paperwork and help out with your tradies that work on your business.
Oh, I love
Sounds
this.
very serious. So do you know how long they'd been together before this? Like before the
very
moving
trusting,
in
isn't it?
and the going away for 3 months? Like, is it a 5-year relationship or is it 12 months or something?
It doesn't say. I
Okay.
mean, they were. She was in love, obviously, with him. The thing is, when he gets off the block, she's like, well done, we're off to Mexico. How did you go? Unfortunately, he's hooked up with the makeup artist at Channel 9.
You know, I mean,
How
he
do
was
we
busy.
know this? Is that proven?
Because
think that-
his girlfriend has done, and you know that she's really going to a good source here, but she's gone to the Maily Dale to do an interview saying, I was absolutely blindsided. I spent 3 months looking after his dog and his house, helped out with his business,
With
and
the
then I
promise
get
of
out.
Mexico.
And the worst thing about it, he is like 100% committed now. He's now putting up photos of his new girlfriend who's
In
a makeup
Mexico?
artist.
Did he take her to Mexico?
No.
His face has never looked better. I mean,
The thing is, though, the makeup artist was married as well.
oh my God.
But the ex-husband, the estranged husband, Lucas Day, has come out and said, look, our marriage had ended.
Right,
So I can
okay.
100% confirm our marriage had ended, but only recently. And so she can do what she wants.
Here's what I'm trying to work out, and Kate, you've sat in makeup chairs for a long time fixing up all of God's mistakes, but I'd love to know,
So rude.
how do
It's so rude.
how do you go from, I'll put a little bit of blush here, let's put some moisturiser on your face, to shut up and kiss me?
Well, the thing is, like your hairdresser
Yeah.
or your doctor or maybe your masseuse in your average everyday life, a makeup artist and the person in it, they end up forming quite an intimate relationship. A makeup artist can sometimes become your therapist. They are the first person you see at the beginning of the
Yeah.
day.
Gotcha.
They make you feel cared for.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
They attend to
Well, this is
you
good.
all day during the day. They're faffing about,
Oh, so
and I mean that in a very nice way, in case,
Professional way, yeah.
Lily's listening.
Sorry, Lily.
You know, they are there on hand to make you look good and feel good. I mean, a makeup artist is practically like
personal trainer.
Well, it's like your dancing partner on Dancing with the Stars.
So how many affairs have you had with Lily? That's the question. No, but it is. It's like a hairdresser.
That's
For some
interesting.
reason, you feel you need to open up with the problems that you have in your life, Kate.
Well, maybe. I know there were probably a lot of. I don't know how much makeup one of the tradies gets on the block, but there is that intimate space.
Yeah.
You know, in a very masculine kind of environment. Maybe, I don't know who the makeup artist is, but maybe that feminine was something that he was missing. I'm not excusing behaviour.
Well, this is the thing. He's probably sitting in the chair, blowing up about Killer Keith, and Dan's come over and said, I'm bloody out by 5 millimetres on this area here. And she's gone, well, sit down and I'll get rid of your wrinkles. Next thing you know.
Yeah, maybe she's washed his hair, given him a little head massage or a Panadol.
I'm excited to see Scotty Cam and Keith walk through the final product that they've built when they find a small staircase that leads to a basement. He goes, what's that for? I didn't expect that. Well, it's the makeup artist and I. If you come down here, you'll see a mattress that's completely worn out.
It's a real kick in the guts, though, isn't it?
Oh,
like
my
if
God.
and I'm loath to comment on it, but I do think that if you've been at home holding up the fort, and it happens to people all of the time.
Yep.
I don't want to generalise, but women at home looking after the children, allowing their man to go off and build their career and travel with work, and then all of a sudden, whoops, a daisies, he's fallen over into something.
Yeah, I know.
He's tripped on the doorway and his pants has fallen
Do you know
down.
what I mean?
Well,
it's like that's the thanks you get.
Yes.
This is just Ricky Ricard. That makes me think now. I mean, Scotty Cam's been doing the show for how long? God, Killer Keith's been on there for a long time. How many affairs are these guys having?
You can't
saying
you
that.
can't paint that with the same brush, mate.
Sorry, Scotty, I would not throw that out there at all.
That is. You think
in
Scotty
my
and
eyes,
Killer Keith are hooking up?
Gone in my eyes.
Oh my goodness, we need to move on. We're going to be done for defamation.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We've been talking about this quite a bit lately, about when you know someone in your friendship group who might be quite promiscuous and doing the wrong thing. You know the conversation that we've been having, that if it's your friend,
Yep.
you usually are on their side and you'll say to them, look, we know what's going on. Stop doing it, or else we're going to have to tell your partner.
Yeah.
Or if it's the other way, right? If you know that their partner is doing it, you go straight to your friend and you tell them straight away.
Well, if you want to get involved, not everyone does do that, do they?
So, okay, so this has happened within our friendship group.
Oh, no. It wasn't Jamesy, was it?
Well, it's got to do with burner phones.
Burner.
So it was Jamesy.
So
burner phone, the definition of what a burner phone is, it's your other phone
Yeah,
that
your
you
other
can
number.
just burn one day. Is that right?
Pretty much.
This is a mate of a mate. His wife has found an extra phone in the house.
Where did BJ find it?
So she's like, okay, what's this phone got to do with anything? He's freaked out, instantly said it's my work phone because he does travel quite a bit for work. She said, okay, well, before I presented this burner phone to you, I've gone through this phone and the only conversations that you're having in there are with different women.
Okay.
I've also tracked where you've been for work over the last month, and it seems to me that you have a different woman in every place that you visit for work. How are you getting out of this one? Now it's getting to the point where he's like freaking out. She said, I want out. I'm done.
No.
The friendship group have sort of known about this for a while, and this is why I brought it up before, is that, like, what side do you take? Everyone knows that he's been doing this for a while, and she's the last to unfortunately find out. He's now gone, well, I've been booted out of the home. Can I come and stay with you guys? And now friends are going, no, mate, sorry, we're going to have to side with your wife.
Do you know what? I think the most important thing in this situation is to know that something obviously led to that. There's obviously a clear breakdown. So if it was a mate of mine...
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Yeah.
So, hang on. So you're saying...
There's something wrong with the relationship.
So there's a reason. There's a reason why he's done
Why
this.
he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
always
for an
need a
extended
reason to
period
cheat,
of
don't you?
time.
Yeah. So if that was my mate, I would think to myself, okay, there's something's gone wrong.
There might
'cause
be
they
a
were in
reason,
love.
but it might also just be a pattern of behaviour.
Possibly
It might
so.
be a characteristic of that person.
of the individual. So I would say, mate, you can stay at my place. let's have a chat about what's happened here, because something's gone wrong, because you were completely in love with your wife and she was in love with you. So how have you led to this behaviour?
13, 24, 10.
I actually think that's very considerate of you, but I also think that it's erring.
Not all men are dogs, Kate.
I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that this conversation could be erring on the side of trying to find a reason to blame her
Not
for
blaming
his
her.
behaviour.
There's no
blaming her at all.
excuse. There's no excuse
may
at
have
all
done
for cheating,
something.
and you can't say that there's been a relationship problem for you to go and cheat.
There's never an
there's no
excuse. There might be a reason.
There might be a reason.
But, right, for why he was doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Which does that help with the
No,
the
it doesn't
news?
help the outcome.
No, it
does
doesn't. But
It
at
doesn't.
least it might be a conversation worth having with your mate instead of you can't stay here.
Oh no,
That's what I'm saying.
I know you need.
There's a human side to this.
Absolutely, he is also a person going through
Yeah.
something.
And you know what? You might sit down with him and say, "What's going on here, buddy?" And he says, "Well, I found out she was seeing a guy 3 years ago and I haven't been able to let it go. So it was her fault."
I've always, you've got to be wary of someone with an extra phone. 13, 24, 10. Burner phones, people who walk around with extra phones. I don't care. Technology these days, you don't need two phones.
I can't
you
suggest...
You don't need a work phone and you don't need a personal phone.
Some people do.
What are you talking
There's
about?
not one legitimate reason someone might have a second phone.
I know I know someone works as a is a tradie, and they have a second phone.
What for?
And so on the weekend, they just don't have that phone on at all. So that when they're out and about on a weekend, it's just their personal
All
phone,
in
and
the
they're
settings.
not bothered by work calls.
So, and Whipper's right. There's technology now that you can, on the weekend, you can silence certain things. If you don't want to answer your phone, just put it on silent.
No, but you're always thinking about it.
Richard Wilkins, why do you have 3 Blackberries?
Dickie
What year
used
are
to
you
have,
stuck in?
which was quite funny as well, because Dickie had a BlackBerry, and they have the smallest keypad in the
Yeah.
world, and he had a sight problem. So to watch Dickie trying to do a text
my
message to
God.
someone,
With
it would
those-
take 8 minutes.
And also
Giant sausage fingers.
also the biggest fingers in the biz.
Oh, like a bratwurst. 5 of them stuck on an end of a stump. Huge fingers.
It must be a horrible feeling, though, when you are in a relationship with someone and you find an extra phone. Because then your first thought is, do I go through it? Do I confront them? What do I do?
How do I open this can of worms?
Amy in Campbelltown, you dated someone. They had an extra phone, Amy. How did you find it?
He was sleeping one night and I kept hearing this vibrating, and then I searched around and found it, and that's how I found out everything on the other phone.
Amy, to what point, Amy? Can I ask how many girls you had on the side, or?
A lot, but he was actually married, so he'd been married for over 10 years.
And you didn't know this,
Yeah.
Amy.
No, the other lady had no idea.
She didn't know you existed. You didn't know she existed.
That's right.
Oh, my God. That's wild.
How did you confront him, Amy? There's no way you could have laid next to him again after finding that. How did you confront him with it?
Actually, I didn't. I went around to I knew where he lived.
Yeah.
So me and a couple of friends went there late at night and went to the mailbox, and we found his wife's name on some mail.
Yeah.
And then, I got in contact with her, and then I actually didn't hear from him again.
Wow. Amy, talk us through the moment. Did you ring her, or how did you get in contact with her?
I did. I rang her, and she was in disbelief. And
How did you open the call, Amy? What did you say?
I let her know who I was and what had been happening, and she was just, as I said, in total disbelief for a while. She did end up sending me a text, I think, later on that week, and let me know that she'd found other girls as well. And
Yeah.
Quite the bevy.
Burn it, the burner.
Burner. He didn't burn it. He didn't burn it early enough.
What a
Burner
fun.
phones.
exactly.
More
Let's
like
go out
burning
to
it at both
Penrith.
ends.
Penrith. Mel knows a lot about a burner phone. Tell us about it, Mel.
Morning, guys.
Hi, Mel.
Found out that my partner of 7 years was using his work phone as a burner phone, and typical tradie, calls a lot of builders. But I thought, God, you're calling this builder an awful lot. It just didn't seem right. So went on his Google timeline and could see every single time that he was at a certain address. And I knew whose address it was.
Yeah.
I didn't really know her, but I knew of her.
Yeah.
So for the last 2 years of our 7-year relationship, he was leaving work early, not picking up our son on time from daycare.
Oh, no,
going to her
Mel.
house, and then proceeded to tell me that, it was nothing physical. And I'm thinking, buddy, you don't go to someone's house at 3 a.m. for a chat.
No, you
Just
don't.
doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah. What
Mel.
happened, Mel?
So I was like, loved him that much, but I was like, we can fix this. Let's
Yep.
go to counselling. And he's like, no, can't do it. And that was it. 7 years of my life down the drain.
And how old is your son, Mel?
He is 6 years old. So,
And he's-
ever since he was,
A
4 years
baby.
old.
And then, Mel, what is
Yeah.
he? Is he with the other girl now?
I have no idea. I don't speak to him at all.
Stay out
And
of
I
it.
think for women out there, as a mental health thing, if you think that someone is toxic for you, just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself.
Oh, Mel, you poor thing. Thank you for sharing.
Great words of advice, Mel. You look after yourself
Oh,
and your
jeez.
beautiful son.
Fee in Richmond, you used to supply people with burner phones, Fee.
Yeah, I worked at a dating agency where, you'd have all types of people kind of call through. And some of them were in relationships, and those that were in relationships, we would supply additional SIM cards so that they would only use that SIM card for meeting up with specific people or doing things.
How did
Burner sim.
Fee, how did you feel about doing that personally?
I personally did more of the admin side of things where I would pre-screen them, and if they were if they were in a relationship, I personally passed them on to another colleague of mine.
Yep.
Right.
Because morally I couldn't handle that.
No.
But my colleague, she loved it. She thought it was fantastic. It would kind of use her looks and personality to also benefit from it as well.
Okay. I was just wondering, how many people do you think out there who use these like facilities that you were providing? How many people are in a relationship? Like, is it quite a high percentage?
Yeah, I would probably say about 70% of them call through. So.
Fee, any women? Do women have burner phones? We've got calls from...
100%.
Okay.
100%. We had women call up and say, look, I'll be in this certain area at this certain time. If you can give me as many numbers as possible, and they would hire the most expensive room and ask for half the room fee from the men.
Wow.
Yeah,
Fee, did it, by the sounds of it, it challenged you morally, like you said. Did it get to a point where you couldn't do it anymore?
100%. I knew it would, lead to bad karma and things like that, and I just felt like it was just a very dodgy industry.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, keep your calls coming. Tommy's got an ex-girlfriend, Charlotte, from West Pennant Hills.
Very good.
Tommy, idea just popped into my head.
What is it, Fitz?
Oh, no.
Fitzy and Ripper with Kate Ritchie burner phones, our own merchandise.
Beautifully branded.
I don't want my name on that. You don't have my name on any of the other merch. Don't start putting it on the burner phones, thank
But
you.
be on the budgie smugglers first.
You could use us as the excuse. Oh, no, this is just I'm
It's a
bringing up
direct
for a
line.
competition.
I can only call 13 24 10.
Sarah in Mona Vale, who was busted with a burner phone, Sarah?
Morning, guys. I actually have a story from my husband's family. My father-in-law bought him his first phone about 15 years old.
Yeah.
And every now and then he wanted to use it. And then my husband, a couple of years went by and he worked out that he was regularly using his phone to talk to other women.
Dad
And
was.
my father-in-law was married for 20 years at the time.
Yeah.
And it did come to a head when one of the women were a long-term relationship. It was multiple women, but the last one was a long-term. She had a burner phone because she was married. And it all just came to a head
A lot of people getting burnt.
Yeah, the husband from the
On the other
mistress
side,
came
yeah.
forward.
Isn't there a better way than carrying another phone? Like,
Well,
get
maybe.
a pager. You know?
Yeah, so is that what you're taking out of this? How can we make this better?
It
How
just
can we
seems
achieve
dumb.
our goal in a far more
Seems
streamlined
very
way?
simple.
What about, though,
And
how
foolish.
would you feel if you gave someone a phone as a present and you found out later they were using it to cheat?
Here you go, mate. I got a spare one.
Oh, yeah, Dad, mate, brand new phone technology. You get a bit of data on
You're
there
gonna
as
love it,
well.
Dad.
Enjoy. You can speak to Mum, text her all the time.
Oh, yeah.
He's straight on there talking to other women. What is going on?
Let's talk to Charlotte in West Pennant Hills. Here's the story we've been waiting for. Charlotte, what happened?
Morning. I had dropped my phone or broke my phone or lost my phone, and I asked my family who had a spare phone. My sister-in-law had said, I've got a spare phone, I'll let you have this one.
Yep.
So she gave me the phone willingly. And so the next day I popped my SIM card in or opened up the phone, and the first message, those old phones that it came up with a message at first?
Yes.
So mine said, good morning. Hers said, I love cock. And that was the first wow moment. And then I kept looking through this phone because there was still messages. So I had to look through, and there were messages in there from maybe up to 5 different men. So having a look through there, reading all the messages, thinking, oh my gosh, hang on, this woman is married to my brother.
And really likes Coke, yeah.
What?
When I got down to, so it gets worse. When I got down to another message, I kept reading it, looked at the phone number. It was my current partner. So my sister-in-law.
What?
I know. And
What?
it gets even worse.
And your
It
husband?
gets worse.
It wasn't my husband, it was my partner, so we weren't married. But the time in which she was talking to him and this was all happening, my brother, her husband, was in hospital with cancer. So just horrific. And
mate.
so, needless to say, she's now my ex-sister-in-law.
Charlotte, the other thing I have to ask as well, usually when you hand over a phone to somebody else, you change the SIM, so she probably thought, she's not going to see any messages. But there's also, was there any photos, Charlotte, or was there anything?
There were photos, and they were horrific. But this was a good 15, 20 years ago now. So this is where things stayed on the phone as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, my God.
You would have thought that she would have deleted things, but everything was there. It was horrific.
That is extraordinary. What did you do?
I had 3 people to talk to, my sister-in-law, my brother, and my partner. I started with my brother and said, look, this is what it is. And he's like, no, that's not her phone. I've never seen this phone before. And I had to explain that she gave me the phone. You saw her give me the phone. This is the phone that she gave me. There's no way I could have made that up because it's in the past, so it's not like I could message other people. It was she.
She's been
all
busy.
She kept saying was I'm mortified. You can be mortified, but this is true.
Who did you speak to next? And then you and your brother, who did you go to? The wife
I
or
went
your?
to my partner.
Yeah.
I went to my partner first because I was like, you're not getting us away from this. You're not escaping this. There's no way. So needless to say, it's the next partner as well. So that's great. And then it was the sister-in-law. But I made sure I did that in front of the whole family while my partner and my brother's wife were there and my whole family, just so everyone understood the situation.
What, so your mum and dad were there?
Yeah, absolutely.
How did they react?
Yeah, was it dinner? I want to know all of this.
Well, they didn't. They actually did not understand how this was possible. It was just. You couldn't even write that script.
There's a television show in it, Charlotte, without a doubt. But
Absolutely.
I just can't believe that someone could be that dumb, Charlotte, to pass over a phone knowing what she's done with it. But she just probably would have thought 15 years ago, she would have thought, she'll just put her SIM in there and it's completely wiped the memory of mine. But
Charlotte, did your brother and your partner know that they were both seeing the same person?
Yes, so my partner did.
Yeah, of
my
course.
partner
Yeah,
did because
yeah.
they were together.
Of course.
So my brother and his wife were. My brother and his wife were together before my partner and I got together. So it was known.
Were there any children? Did they have children?
No, thank goodness.
Okay.
And
Neither on both sides.
is your brother okay?
Oh, yeah, he's fine now. He's fine. He's remarried and he has a lovely, beautiful child and he's married to another person. So.
Only other option at that dinner would have been everyone jumps in, you know what I mean?
Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that?
Half the party.
Why do you have to do that?
You'd have to classify that as a third-degree burner phone, if you know what I mean. That's the harshest of burns.
Oh, my
That is
goodness.
a wild story.
We're going to need to digest that.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast. Kate Ritchie's
Theme Queen.
Now, I was joking when I said it was a bit tricky today, but...
It's easy, is it? It's easy for me. It's always been easy for me.
Okay, well, let's see how you go, because I think it's particularly tricky. Welcome to round 27 of Theme Queen. I am your host, David Williams' favourite team member. Ain't that the truth? And the moral compass of this show, Kate Ritchie. So the game is very simple. 3 rounds. Each round, there are 3, the big compass. Each round, there are 3 songs. Now, we know that these 3 songs are connected by a theme. You just got to work that out, guys.
Before we get into it, have you had any contact with David Williams since the interview yesterday?
Yes.
I thought so. I've never seen so much public flirting in my life.
That's why we were asking about your dating history before.
I just assumed you'd been out last night on a date with David Williams.
I cooked meatballs.
Okay, what are you doing Friday night?
For him? What?
No,
when did he come over?
for my daughter.
are you doing Friday night?
Where I'm actually going to the show.
Oh, okay, you go to the David Williams show.
But I'm going with you guys.
Yeah,
The ball and
the big
chains.
handbrake.
I think there will be a conversation afterwards where it will be like, hey, well, great to see you guys. I'll see you at work on Monday. Where are you going, Kate?
Turns out I'm going to London for
Backstage.
Christmas.
Oh, you are?
Oh, no.
All right, Theme Queen, here we go.
All right, here we go. Round number 1, song number 1.
I'm Dill Dandon.
Oh, I love this song. Is it David Williams?
Elton John, friend of David Williams.
Song number 2.
Let me see that
Oh, Cisco.
What was the first song?
Elton John, I'm Still Standing. If you stop trying to do your gags, you'd hear the song. Song number 3.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you reckon, guys?
I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
They're all keywords for games played on this show.
Yes, you're...
I was going to say it was that photo of Queen Elizabeth in a thong that I thought that was the theme.
That's not it. Well done, Whip. Yeah, 1 point away. Round number 2, song number 1.
Okay, what Kate likes in a guy?
No, I don't like money. That's been proven.
ABBA?
Song
Okay.
number 2. What a great song.
Who's that?
Aha.
Terrible name.
Is it?
Swedish band?
I don't know. Song number 3.
airplane.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky?
Oh, I love this song.
I can really use a wish right now. Wish right now. Wish right now.
This is a bit trickier, this one. So it's ABBA and Aha, and then who sings Airplanes?
I can really use a wish right now.
Right now. Who was the rappers in there?
Who sings that?
B.O.B.
B.O.B.
Yeah,
and
remember?
Jessie J? Was it Jessie J?
I know, Hayley Williams.
I know what it is.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it, but the letters in the name of each band start and end with the same, with the others in the middle.
Are you saying, are they palindromes?
Palindromes. Yeah, they're palindromes.
All right,
The old
guys.
palindrome
Like
thing.
Glenelg.
Oh, that is one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a great one. Okay, you're going to have to get serious for round number 3 because I think it's tricky. Jess, take it away. Round 3, song number 1.
Holiday Inn. Tommy's wedding song.
Who's that?
Pitbull.
Motel, Holiday Inn. It's so aggressive, isn't it? Pitbull is a pig. All right, Hotel, song number 2.
Is that Kesha?
Kelly Clarkson, mate.
It's a love story. What a great song about a love story.
Pitbull and Taylor Swift hooked up with each other.
No. We might need to talk through this, so let's go to song number 3 and keep thinking.
Madge. Papa Don't Preach. That's the most in tune you've ever sounded.
I'm trying to think what Pitbull, Taylor Swift and Madonna have in common.
Well, what are the main words in all of those? Hotel. And
Love
then Taylor
Story.
Swift sings about Romeo.
Getting married in Vegas.
And then Madonna sings about her papa.
Papa, Hotel.
And Love Story.
We might actually have to go to Tamara in the Blue Mountains.
Come
to
on,
help
Tamara,
us out.
give it to us.
It is a tricky one, Tamara. Do you think you've thought of the theme for round number 3 this morning?
Yeah, guys, I think I've got it. So my dad's a pilot, and I recognise that all these songs have a connection with the phonetic alphabet. Hotel, Romeo, Papa.
I'm glad you got it because it was tricky for me too.
I mean, you've given me the answer and I still don't get it.
You know when you're, well, I'm not a pilot, but when you're a pilot and you want to say letters and you need to be very clear
The NATO alphabet.
It's phonetic. So go through it. A would be apple.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what
It's
do you
not-
mean? Hotel.
Hotel is part of the phonetic alphabet for people like
What's Love
pilots to
Story?
be very.
L's for love, is
No,
it?
R for Romeo. What's G?
What? But that's not the name of the
Is
song.
it?
Yeah.
But that's okay. They all have
That-
words in the
that
song and a
is
very clear
clever,
theme word.
But without question, degree of difficulty is 11 out of 10.
Well, that's why you didn't get
really
it.
hard.
That's why we had to go to Tamara in the Blue Mountains.
And Tamara's a pilot, is she her dad?
No, her dad is. Don't be discouraged, guys. Theme Queen will be back next week.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
We do a lot of chat around dating on this show. Because for a lot of the population, we might be looking for somebody to love or somebody to love us. And there are a lot of apps, and that feels as though it's been the way of the world. That's how you meet people. I mean, when was the last time you heard a love story where someone set someone up on a date with a friend?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, how's your dating life going?
Oh,
It's a really good question, Fitz. I sit closer to Kate than you, so I don't ask.
Come on,
what do you
tell
ask
us.
me,
What's the last date that you...
I don't go on dates.
What do you do?
Well, what? I don't know. I'm so busy.
Just hang out.
I'm a single mum with a 10-year-old child and a full-time job.
Yeah. And
Up until recently, I've had 2 jobs.
And you're a hoarder, so you're always...
your pardon?
They said you're a hoarder.
Oh, sorry.
So you're always...
Wow.
You're always unpacking things and repacking.
I
and
have. Do you know what interests me? I
Tea
just showed you
towels.
tea towels, and I just showed you guys during the song some photos of some
brickwork.
herringbone paving I'm having done. I mean, it's the only.
Well, if you're into tea towels, we've got 78-year-old Gordon on the line for a date.
No, do you know what? If someone contacted me and said they had a mad, wicked, wild collection of
No
tea
such
towels,
thing.
I would go to their house.
Really?
I probably wouldn't be allowed to leave, but I would go to their house. Anyway, this woman, speaking of herringbone paving, this woman, and I don't think this is a new concept, but she's thrown out the apps, and she's in the US, so she's talking about a store called Screwfix, which I think would be like our Bunnings or Mitre 10 or, our
I would have called it Scrucifix. But anyway.
That's not a good one. There's one down in Mittagong at the moment that's quite a... I actually thought of you guys when I drove past it the other day. There's a
Is
new...
there a hot tradie out the front?
No, there's not a hot tradie out the front, but there is a hardware store, and it's called... And nearly pulled up to take her photo because I thought, I made myself lol in the car.
What was it called?
It's called Total Tools.
Oh, yeah, Total Tools.
And I was like, that's the boys.
Which is also the subject for your dating history, I think, as well.
That is.
No tools here.
Total Toys.
Oh, for goodness sake. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she's saying rather than dressing yourself up, ladies, and heading out to the clubs on a Saturday night, you should head to a Total Tools or a like a Bunnings or a Screwfix, because who's with me? Who's joining the Screwfix Club? We all need screws. That kind of thing. Men at these places can't do enough for you. If they're there on a Saturday night, it means they aren't out drinking 1,000 schooners. They are like getting ready for a Sunday, a Sunday on the tools, maybe painting the deck or, hanging up your hose reel. I bought one. I was in a Bunnings yesterday trying to buy a hose. Gee, that's a hard job.
Which one did you go with? The Holland?
Well, I needed one that doesn't. I don't like my hose with kinks in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of context, Kate.
I don't like a hose with a kink in it. And one that won't freeze.
Huh? Can you tell me, because a while ago...
In the cold weather.
They don't.
They do. Have you ever had a hose in the Southern Highlands?
No, I haven't had a...
freeze.
They do freeze. When the water is in them, they do.
Can you tell me, a while ago you said the most attractive thing in a man, or what you love to see, is, say, being a dad with the kids?
No, don't say that, because that would imply that I am attracted to other people's husbands. And that's not the truth. What I said was the most attractive thing the man can do is to be elbow deep in the suds. Just stick with me. What's more attractive than a man in the kitchen, elbow deep in the sink, in the suds, washing up?
Okay. Does that beat a tradie painting a fence?
Oh, I'd love that.
Okay, we'll choose one of them.
I would love all of that. Anyone that can do any job.
She's sounding fussy again this morning. Anyone that can do a job.
Anyone that, and is kind to you. Kindness is key. This was a story about Lynn Kavanagh, a 45-year-old.
We don't need a name.
We're going to meet. It's going to be a long morning.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.